My clip is open, the background, which is all I needed.
We're streaming live. Atinasi. Is there already? Check out your favorite ladies. Ifeoma Woman, Grandidu, Fifi Girl, Dagna, United Kingdom. She's the girl. Sassy Ijeoma Wampa Yoku at IJ_WAP from Stanford, Connecticut. Cool, Witty Freddy Wango at Judy McPius. Witty Girl from Lagos, Nigeria. And the lovely Oche Breaker at Jaifia at Gorgeous Oche from Abuja, Nigeria. We love you guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Oche Kitchen. Thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna go right into the me time. Oh, last week was so or this week that we're just about to elapse. It was so nice for me. I did my internship exit session, so I'm done with my internship. So I'm just studying for my board exam. So yeah, so I've been, I've been so happy, and I'm finally recovered from my Jamaican trip. Everyone, people who know me knew I went to Jamaica, and old age Abiago. So I'm still recuperating and everything. My body's still so tired, but we thank God I had fun and everything. So having said that, I'm still studying, getting ready for my exams and hoping for the best for everything. Mama, how has your week been so far?
Exciting. At least my kitchen work is progressing.
Oh wow,
the long-standing
awesome.
kitchen work, yeah. And it's been an easy week. Yes, it's been great. I've been enjoying myself doing nothing, but it's been relaxing, better than the week before.
Yeah.
And congratulations, you're making progress as well.
Honestly, this is a very big load off my chest and my being and everything, because for years, career-wise, I've been in limbo. I couldn't go up. I couldn't, I've been like this for a long time. So this will give me an opportunity to move up in life. And at least I'm going to get a raise from my job, and it will be easy for me to get something else by the side too. So yeah, with the license.
Okay.
So thank you.
Great.
And Oche, go ahead. How has your week been so far? Last week you complained about the headache. You feeling better?
Yes, I'm feeling better. And having heard what you just achieved, I am so excited. Honestly, I am super proud of you because I mean, I can't even do that. I can't even think about going to school.
Trust me, it's been a struggle.
And for me, your win is my win. I feel like I'm the one, like I accomplished something, honestly.
Thank you.
I am so happy. And I'm
having said that, trust me, this brain don't block.
I'm going to watch it for you.
Thank you.
Isha Oche time.
Isha Oche, I swear.
That's why I am this happy. I am. And you will hear from me.
Amen.
You know
let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain, let it rain. I see somebody that haven't been here before. Nancy Moore. Nancy Moore, can you hear us?
Okay.
Is it Nancy from Ireland?
Yes, Nancy from Ireland. Yeah, I saw her log in. I'm like, finally.
Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, everybody. I just said, let me just check what this Oche kitchen is all about.
After 10 years,
people advertise the thing, all the forever. So I said, today. Now do or die, yo. So I said, let me. And then when I logged in, I was just doing something. Then I heard Ijoma saying she got something off her chest, blah 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 blah. Ijoma, the heavy thing you got off your chest, I can still see 2 standing things.
That's how we do. I'm glad you used the word standing because it's still standing.
Well done. No, you guys are doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job. The lady in Nigeria. I don't know. I can't remember your name. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. Yeah, you met Ifoma. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I was talking about yes, I feel better. And guess what? I got a message, a very sweet message from Ataibo during the week. I was so touched. I mean, she always looks out for me. Even before I logged out that evening, she messaged medication. Me. Yeah, I'm telling you, you know me now, everything. when I'm pampered, I love it, So for her to look out for me, she messaged me before I logged out of Oche Kitchen that evening. And during the week, she sent a message checking on me. It's beyond being on the screen. I felt it. I felt loved. And Ataibo, I just want to let you know that we love you so much. We can't say that enough because your support is unending. I can't explain. You understand? It's an indescribable feeling. But I just want to let you know that you are family. We can't mention Oche Kitchen without mentioning you. Yeah.
Ati, yes, sir.
That's my big sister, Mother Hair.
Yes, please, when I come to the UK, you need to take me to where you colored your hair. I need to
she said she's blushing. Ataibo said she's blushing.
Oh my. So I'm generally feeling better. This week was half term. So I didn't do any school run. I didn't do any pickup, although my pocket is crying. But all in all, we thank God.
That's good. That's good.
So how was your week?
Hello everybody. My week was fine. The weather was very nice. Once the weather is nice, I'm happy. I don't get stressed, right? Just happy. Yes, it's been a good week. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And Chineke, how was your week? Welcome to the show.
My week was fine. Just in another meeting. I'm with you guys. I'll get back to you guys later.
Okay, that's fine. Good to have you looking at us, staring at us. Thank you.
I'm admiring all of you, no problem.
Thank you. You want your Kanye, so that's okay.
Onye kem na ebe lowa. Even on public holiday.
From Abangwa. Okay, Nneka Wabo, we see Nneka here. Nneka, can you hear us? Nneka, can you hear us? All right. I guess Nneka. How was your week so far? Can you briefly tell us how your week went so far?
I was eating.
Projection. Like I project from the screen. Abby?
Is it me? IJ?
Yeah, Nega, don't worry. Our time is over. We're going to move on to the next segment. So our show this week is it's about correct. Hold on, I need to mute Chimeze. Chimeze, can you mute yourself? Okay. Our show this week is about a corrective slap. So we're gonna give you guys a scenario and you guys will tell us what you think about it. We had a Nigerian guy who wrote on Instagram saying something like that they've lost wife materials. So whatever wife materials means, me no know. So the scenario goes like this. I slapped my wife and she had the guts to arrest me with police because of one correctional slap. I was so surprised when the police stormed my office to arrest me. We have lost wife materials. It's funny how this woke generation can't endure like our mothers. She had me arrested and had the nerves to remain in my house. It's the audacity for me. My father slapped my mom and she never had him arrested. Instead, she apologizes like the good wife she is, then cooks and washes his clothes. But now it's pathetic that we can't collect them. So I'm going to mute everybody because there's noise coming in from somewhere. So the question is it okay for a spouse to give a corrective slap? Like, let's say that I went out for like a party and I come back like 2, 3 a.m. and is it okay for my spouse to slap me? For me, if you touch me, you're going to catch my fingers. Because I believe every adult should use their voices. That's why when kids are in kindergarten, from nursery school, when kids fight, they teach you to learn to use your words instead of your instead of your hands. So as adults, I think if you don't know how to communicate, you should teach yourself how to communicate. That's why God gave us, I think that's why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that if one person is talking, you have 2 ears to listen. You know what I mean? So for me, if you touch me, you're gonna catch these fingers, you're gonna catch this lamp, bottle, anything, furniture, anything that is so I will never endorse it. I will not endorse any spouse or adult. You know, I've never hit anybody first, but anybody who tries to hit me, they can testify that I've flung something at them. I've scratched them, I'll tear your shirt, I'll do anything to you. So that yes, anything, even this bicycle that I'm looking at. If I can lift that bicycle up, it's boza on your head. So just for future references, do not touch me. Otherwise, you're going to catch these fingers. And I'm very rough. Very, very, very rough. So having said that, let me move to Ojuga. I know Ojuga is very soft. She's very emotional. So I can't even imagine her thinking about somebody like touching her. So So Oche, can you take it away from me? So what do you think about this?
I can't even imagine it. Honestly, I can't comprehend, and it will be a deal breaker for me. Okay? The moment you raise your hands at me, I am out of the door.
So deal breaker is that you leave the marriage, the relationship, anything it is, you'll leave it.
Thankfully, the person I'm married to hasn't even raised his voice in the past 21 years. So the chance that I'll do something that would actually make him hit me, it's very minimal, okay? But let's say per chance he is drunk, and of course, in fact, I can't imagine it, because if I'm trying to even express myself, if I'm upset and I want to say why I'm upset, I cry. So for you to now hit someone who is already crying, you must be stark raving mad. That's why I say I can't.
Yeah. I heard crying is their soft thing. Like once you cry, man is like they'll forget everything that you did. And for some reason, I don't get tears. I don't know why tears don't in my eyes. I have to go buy teardrops.
No, the truth is that it doesn't even matter who I'm talking to. It's just like when we are discussing on Oche Kitchen, you know that. So it's not about my significant other. I think this one, I follow come, and me, I'm done fighting it. It's like that. So that is for me personally. But for this guy, Chineze said, tell the man to change his dealer. Since the materials is getting an auto case, you change his dealer. So for me, whether he thinks wife material 100 yards is somebody who he's going to batter all the time, it goes a long way to show you that he wasn't properly raised. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you're trying to date someone and you ask the very important questions, for me, I've told my daughter, please find out, does he have home training? Because a guy can have a good job, he can have all the exposure in the world if he wasn't properly brought up. And then what this guy also said made me see the kind of family he came from.
Yeah.
Because his mom took all that in doesn't make it right. And he has refused to see that it is not right. So in all angles, I can't even have dealing with such a person. I can't.
Oh, thank you. For me, the only time I can take that is during sex. If you're not slapping me during sex, don't slap me when we're arguing. So let me put it out. Yeah, so okay, I'll ask Ifeoma Mama. Ifeoma Mama is a traditionalist. I know Ifeoma Mama likes the traditions. She likes anything Igbo. Ifeoma is the epitome of Igbo Amaka. So I'm sure she might have a different view to what Oche just said. So Oche, I think Oche, Ifeoma, having heard me and Oche, what do you think about this boy saying that he slapped his wife and the wife called the cops on him and everything? What do you think about that?
Let me just.
You just muted yourself. You unmute.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm good now. What Oche described is battering, and that comes under domestic violence. And I think it's not my understanding of this correctional slap. First instance, when I read that and when I heard about this correctional slap, even though this person in context did not tell us what the lady did, what the issue was, all they said I slapped. And I've sat down to think, what could lead
Mama, you think a slap does not qualify as domestic violence?
It is.
Depends on
domestic
depends on the intent.
If he's not doing sex, if he's not doing sex, it's domestic violence.
As far as I'm concerned, the moment you put your hand on someone, you are being violent.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be
okay.
1.5.
No, Oche.
One time
Oche,
is enough.
Oche, let me explain. Let me calm down. Let me calm down.
Calm down.
It depends. It depends on when they're talking about domestic violence, you have to look at the intent, right? And the frequency. If this slap is just one slap, yes. If they batter you one, that's domestic violence. If they slapped you once in 10 years, it's not domestic violence. Let me come back again. I'm not in any way, I'm just putting a disclaimer out. I'm not supporting domestic violence in any way, but I'm trying to make a point. I've just thought about a scenario. I'm just making an assumption here. Assuming this family has probably, for the sake of argument, 1,000 naira, okay? And that's all they have, in truth and fairness. And little Mrs. or little Mr., let's use the man now. The man goes out because he saw his friend spending and decides to spend the 1,000 naira that is left in the family, and even bought things on credit just to impress and return home. And madam says, Okon, what's going on? We need money for this, we need money for that. I said, oh, I'm sorry, do you know, I saw these friends, I was embarrassed, I didn't know what to do, I spent it. A woman with a head on their neck, the first reaction, unless you're exceptional like me, I don't do violence, will give you a slap first, just to clear that juju. Are you okay? That's a correctional slap. For me, that doesn't constitute as domestic violence. That person has done something very stupid and deserved that slap. So if it carries on, it goes into the bad side. This is my view. And taking it back to that person that said that our parents accepted this. why don't today's women accept it? Women in those days, they were in a different level, in the sense that assuming they were housewives, they never went anywhere to do things. So husbands were the king and they were in charge of the family, breadwinners, true and true. So they tend to condone everything that happens. In our own world, we wouldn't say it that way. But correctional slap would work where there is a relationship, where the relationship has not been stained or let's say turned. If the relationship is still intact, for those, there's some relationships that tell you, my husband is my world, my husband is like a brother, is like a sister, is the blah, 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 blah. If that happens and you go and you misbehave and he decides to lash out that way, yes, I can see that, and maybe they will apologize, or you will even apologize, because from the context, from what you read earlier, they expect you to get that slap and still apologize. So there are circumstances, I've seen circumstances where somebody has really gone off the rail, then get cautioned and apologize. So you'll be wondering, you were slapped and you still say sorry. So that's the side I'm looking at it. Domestic violence, I say no to. Correct slap, yes. Depending on what
no matter how you look at it, I think there's nothing like correctional slap. It is orderly. There's no, like, for me, there's nothing to qualify it. You know what I mean? Use your words. Okay, if I chop your 1,000, Ijoma, why did you chop your 1,000? Why not go chop your 1,000? Did you chop it? Una corner. That's it. Everybody moves on. If you need to punish her somewhere else, give her punishment for. But the slap, even when you're yes, even when you're doing the thing with her, you can even punish her then. But just having conversation with an adult and you slap the person, totally wrong. We have let's hear from a guy here. Chris Agocha, are you here? I see you typing something.
Chris? Yeah, he typed something. We could read out what he typed. If normally he's at work at this time.
Okay. So do you have it to read, or do you want me to move to somebody else?
Yeah.
Chris, hi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon. I was on a phone call when you tried to get my attention. Yeah, like I said in my chat, there is something like correctional slap. Those phrase, it's used like in comedy. Oh, it slapped you, correctional slap. There's something like that. Slap is slap, and it's inexcusable. No violence, no nothing. I went out. I spent money, you said our money, and that's the only money we have. And then I come back, my wife slapped me, or I slapped my wife. Come on, man. There's nothing to justify, there's nothing to excuse it. At all. You can't even do it to your kid. Yeah.
What will be your reaction?
What will be my reaction? We'll sit down the look.
For such a stupid act.
No, it's not a stupid act. You went to shopping, you went to JCPenney or any of these small, and you bought a shoe for $500. Would that warrant me to slap you when you come back home?
No. My example was that is the last money in the family.
Even if it's the last money.
And you went and spent it stupidly.
No, it's relative. The guy has to redeem his ego. Yeah, we might look at it as being stupid. Women has gone shopping. What I'm trying to say, even of that, there's a better way to address it.
Exactly. Use your words.
And then the idea is a one-time thing. You haven't slapped me in 10 years. We have been married for 50 years, and you slapped me on our 49th anniversary. It's a domestic violence.
It is.
You don't tolerate it. So,
but what if the person is drunk? Like, I think Ojugo made a scenario about somebody being drunk. Is it forgivable?
No, it's forgivable. Maybe the partners can choose, okay, I'll let it slide, but don't drink again.
Okay.
Exactly, because it's not a norm, you understand. But that doesn't make it right. Even if
it doesn't justify it. It might explain it, but hey, stop making bad choices.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
even if the person is wrong, it doesn't justify it.
Okay, let's hear from Nancy Moore, this is our first day of coming, so that we'll give our audience. After that, we go to Chizo, she's a psychiatrist, so Chizo will help us.
Please, so let me chip in. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There was something you said. If if like you gave that person permission, you consent to that, that's a different, and that one is, I will chain you, I'll slap you.
Exactly. That's the pain is very, very,
Yeah. So that one is not a slap. It's a different ball game altogether.
It's called spanking.
Okay. So,
okay. Yeah, that one will be well received. You know what I mean? Because it came with some little butter.
That doesn't count as domestic violence, right?
No, because they're asking you who is your daddy. You know what I mean? A question. You know what I mean? Okay. Nancy Moore, are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Can you tell us what you think about this issue?
Correctional slap.
Anyway, in the first place, there's nothing like correctional slap, because what's correctional there? You're correcting somebody by slapping the person or what? So I don't understand that phrase, correctional slap. Well, let me put it on the slap part, because let me take the slap, because when you slap me, you can't correct me by slapping me. And if I get you right, you said something about they spent the last 1,000. Fine, they spent the last. Would slapping me bring back that money? No. So what's the essence of your slap?
You won't spend it again.
In the first place, I'm your wife. I'm supposed to be your wife. I'm your partner. Give me that respect as your wife. Why would you want to slap me? For what? For material things? What if, and when you're slapping somebody, you're angry. So you will use your last strength to hit that person. What if you slap and the person collapses or something else happens? What happens? So people have to be careful when they get angry and begin to use violence of any nature. I am against violence. The day, God knows, in my marriage, the day my husband attempts, not even that, attempts to raise the hand, let alone that the hand even landed on me. He could know me. And I don't even have too much power. I don't work hard.
Are you serious? As tough as you are, you work just like that.
I would leave, because that's the thing. I have always made it known that, look, I don't tolerate hitting of any nature. I tell my sons, you never try to hit a woman. You don't.
I tell my sons that.
And I tell my daughters too. That's the same thing.
Don't take
that our parents. That I never saw my own father hit my mother, and that people did it in the past. Does it make it right? We have moved on. We have learned. We were used to analog, now we're gone digital. So we have moved on. We've learned that these things are wrong. So why still do it and bring the example that, our mothers, there are no wife material? Excuse me? Because I didn't receive a slap, I'm not a wife material. Oh, please.
Nancy, if I might chip in, if I might piggyback on what you just said, the mothers that were hit never took it. They never liked it. If you notice, any woman that was in a bad marriage, once their kids grow, they go to Omugwo and they don't come back. They go from one child's house to another child's house. They don't want to go back to their husband. Even when their husbands are sick, they leave even when they are abroad, their husbands are sick in Nigeria. They don't even go back to take care of him because the man never treated them right. So they never, it's not as if they accepted it. It's just that they were being like, they didn't have a voice, or they couldn't leave the marriages for one reason or the other. You know what I mean? And living a marriage was looked down on as something negative before, which now our generation, they don't give a shit about it anymore. So yeah. So Chizo, are you there?
Sorry, Jama, before you go, I want to thank the last speaker, the guy that spoke. He really spoke well, because I was
Chris, I
thought he was going to say yes, so why wouldn't he take slap? But he spoke well. Kudos.
He's a gentleman.
Chris is Oche Kitchen's attorney. That's our attorney. So don't try to sue us, because we have somebody that will cover for us. So don't.
Thank you, Ify. That also.
Yeah.
No, that was Nancy. That was Nancy that said that.
Oh, okay, Nancy. Okay.
Okay, yeah, she's informal as well. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So Chizo, are you there?
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm there, but it's like riot in my house. Sorry.
That's fine. We're used to you and your riots.
Yeah. What would I say? I mean, domestic violence of any sort, be it verbal, psychological, emotional, financial, and last but not the least, physical, is not something that should be encouraged. Be it a correctional slap or non-correctional slap. I mean, in a way, the thing about in my own world is that we try to understand the thinking behind the person who's giving that example. I think, I mean, if I'm trying to guess what he's thinking is that in the past, our grandparents or great grandparents or beyond that, they, you know, what would happen in marriage is that a man would go, a man will get up, get enough money and go marry a very young bride that is almost a child, and exactly. Some of them are man's house until they become women, until they start menstruating or they're able to have a child, then they can start that. So that kind of relationship, there's a difference in dynamics. It's a very powerful position that they occupy, and that's the reason why they're able to exert such level of power over their wives. And you know, the wives they don't have any choice. I suppose it's coercive control. You know, they by virtue of the fact that they got married to them even before they became aware about what they need to do as adults, means that they have a lot of control over them. They have a lot of power over them. So that could be the rationale, the reason behind what that kind of dynamic in relationship had happened in the past. But of course, even in the past, despite it happening, it doesn't mean that it happens in every relationship. There are other relationships where people also have that, but they're not able to be violent, or they're not able to be have this any facet of domestic violence on their spouse, because it goes either way. It goes both ways. So coming back to our present day generation, of course, you know, I condemn that strongly in the strongest of terms. I mean, if there's any other word I can use other than strong, condemning something strongly, I'd use it, because it's not accepted. The impact on the person's psychological makeup as well as mental health is goes beyond that stage, that time that it occurs. It goes beyond that. You know, some people, you know, experience some form of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from the violence that they experience from their spouses. We know that, it's been documented. Some people will even go into refuge, trying to hide away from their violent partners or ex-partners. We know that. And last but not the least is, you know, in any relationship, the risk of violence, you know, when it starts off at that, the chances are it's going to go exponentially higher, because it starts with a slap and it goes beyond that. It starts with a slap. It starts with a slap and it goes beyond the slap. So we know that for that to for you to have sorry, I got distracted. For you to have a bit of control over this relationship, or for you to be able to have a form of control over that, is there's nothing like dialogue. And if dialogue doesn't work, there's room for people to go their separate ways without having to inflict any psychological damage to somebody else. So, but last but not the least, what I'm trying to say is, in as much as we try to understand why people in the past, it's not just in in African countries, in other countries, why it happened is because of the dynamic in relationships. It's a very powerful position to be in, but it's something I strongly condemn. Violence of any kind, it's because for them to slap them, that means they must have verbally abused them. So that is, there are many layers to this kind of violence. We're talking about the slap, but we don't know the kind of conversation that may have happened before the slap happens. Hey, you see, and we don't understand the level of power that the person who actually inflicts the slap would feel for them to be able to see, you know what, I'm gonna slap it and nothing is gonna happen. And the audacity of the person to actually talk about it on Twitter, it beggars belief. I don't even know what world they live in, but at the end of the day, it is our right, it is our duty as parents to make sure that we school our children. When I mean school, we teach them. We make them understand what is acceptable, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, because there's no room for domestic violence of any kind. Yeah, I think that's my piece.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chimezie, we're going to call on you, but before I do that, let's use me and Oche as example. Me and Oche have been friends since we were like 5-6 years old, I believe. And we're two different human beings. If somebody slaps Oche and if somebody slaps me, if you slap me, I'm going to jump on top of you and we'll fight. But somebody like Oche, if you slap Oche, that thing might have an emotional repercussions, for years to come, because Oche is very, very emotional. She would, like she said, she doesn't even like people screaming at her. So you can imagine when she receives blow. You know what I mean? So like Chizo said, some people don't come out of it emotionally. It scares them for life. Oche, am I wrong?
You are 100% correct.
Yeah. Somebody like me, fight back. Oche will not.
You wouldn't mind receiving a correctional slap. Is that what you're trying to say?
If I've been naughty, yes, I'll receive it and say sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
So
No.
I'll start slapping you because there are things I need to correct.
Okay, I'll tell you the way I'm looking at it from, right? I would assume I am. Would I say, okay? Let me not just go too personal. Let me tell you what my neighbor said. People that have a beautiful relationship, partners, it could be man, woman, man and woman. Oh, my all and all, my wonderful, right? My baby. So if you've accepted that person that way, there's something they say in Igbo, I can translate. So if you're being cautioned, again, it could be the measure and how it's been done. I could be slapped by somebody that I've been targeting, and I'll call the police immediately. I could be slapped by somebody I like so much, and I'll say, I'm sorry, provided I know I'm in the wrong. End of story. But I will not tolerate being beaten. Luckily for me in life, I've not been in that position. I have never been battered, and I don't pray it will come my way. But because I am the kind of person, I caution young people by spanking. I do. So maybe that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, you caution your kids. Yeah.
Is it because we are adults? Sorry. Can I say something, Jamal? That's what the next thing I want to say. Are you totally against this because of your age? Or because of the kind of relationship you have with that person? Or is it
we're talking about spouses. We're talking about spouses. The issue here is
that's what I'm saying. Are you against it because of, I'm too old? I'm too old to be spanked.
I've never accepted domestic slap. Like I said, if you slap me, you're catching my hands. Anything that comes to you, and there's evidence. So I've never, even when I was, since I've been 24 years.
You're answering my question.
Is it because of your age?
With your siblings growing up, right? If an elder brother, maybe you've gone out and you've been caught doing something wrong, and you come home and they said, where did you go? I saw you with this boy. Bam, right?
Siblings, yes. No, siblings, it's for me, I said, like, when you're growing up, it's different. Your parents will punish you, your neighbors will punish you, your siblings will punish you, your older siblings, because
so
not my partner.
Right?
No, not somebody that's supposed to be my partner. No.
Okay, I'm right. It's because of the relationship, sexual relationship.
Yeah, no, we're talking about partners. What we're talking about partners. We're not talking about siblings beating each other or mother beating parents. Yeah, we're talking about
what I'm saying
partners here.
Because you're lovers, nobody should hit each other.
No, you shouldn't.
That's
two adults. Yeah, you said siblings. That's when we are growing up. They say, like I always quote Maya Angelou says, if you know better, you do better. So if you know better, when your siblings, you might not know it's not good because that's how you were raised. You were raised that your sibling will caution you, your mother will caution you. But as an adult, if you know better, you should do better.
So there's
a difference when you don't know right from wrong and when you know right and still act stupid. So there are two different things.
No. Okay, I think you're not getting my question.
And I don't see the reason why somebody I love should hit me. Like I said, it's a deal breaker.
Thing. You have to control you.
Yeah, you have deflated whatever love I had for you by doing that. And there is not going to be a 1.5 time. Once is enough. And for me, I don't care what reason you have, even when you want to discipline kids, like you said now that you would, smack a child for being naughty or something to correct a child. There are people who don't even use that means. When my kids were way younger, I was always screaming, okay? And then I expected that, okay, since I wasn't the beating type, their dad would do that. But for one day, my husband has never beaten any of his kids. Instead, he sits down with them and I'm like, this child did something wrong and you're negotiating. He sits with them and talks about it and it worked. Okay? It may have worked because apparently they took some part of him. For another child, maybe if he had a rascally child, it would not work. Because that's another thing. You work out whatever works for each child. So what I'm trying to say, you understand? What I'm trying to say is, not smacking them worked for my family. It might not work for another family, but we are talking about kids. And all those times that he didn't smack them, there were several things he would do as punishment. We could be going out and you'll be home alone. People can be in the sitting room watching TV and you're in your room. You understand? So if as an adult, I did something wrong, look for something else to punish me with. Don't put your hand on me. As far as I'm concerned, and if you feel you can't stand it, let's assume that I did the unforgivable. Ask me to leave. There's nothing on earth that justifies a woman, a man, putting their hand on somebody else. Nothing as far as I'm concerned. Even if it is the man that is wrong, the wife has no right to put her hand on him. There's nothing anybody will tell me. I will not accept that.
Okay, let me ask that question.
You have something to say?
Let me ask that question. Let me ask that question one more time. Are we totally saying no to this because of the sexual relationship between both of you? Or is it because you're an adult, I should not be corrected in that form? That's what I want to understand.
Adults should talk because you're adults. Adults can take it from period. Talk. Use your words.
Can you take it from your siblings as an adult, but you can't take it from your partner? That's my point. That's what I want to get.
Funny enough, none of my siblings raised their hands on me. I'm not used to being beaten, apart from when in school.
No, Oche, we're talking about the general rule. What do you think?
You should, don't hit another adult. Talk it out. Period. Talk it out. Yeah. Whether you're lovers or not, talk it out. Use your words. You know what I mean? I know at times tempers flare, and but if you can control it, control it. Especially with your partner.
You walk away.
Can we hear from Chimeze then?
Yeah, Chimeze, go ahead. Nancy, after Chimeze will be Nancy, and then somebody else raise their hand. Chimeze, are you there?
Auntie Chi.
Yeah, Miss.
Chimeze, okay. Can we hear from Nancy?
Let me answer that question. No, the answer is no. The answer is no. You're my lover, you're my husband, you're supposed to protect me. So if you love me, you won't slap me. That's not, it has never solved any problem. You talk to me like your wife. You talk to me like an adult. You treat me like an adult. Don't treat me like a child. So, and then, by slapping all these things, it can lead to tomorrow now you will strangle me because you're angry. It will lead to murder. There are cases out there, a lot. So there's no basis for hitting anybody, both on the man and on the woman side.
Another way to correct me.
So it's
That's
just,
my
anyhow you
find another meaning.
It's totally wrong. There are ways to handle issues. How many did we hear in the Bible that somebody slapped somebody? I think. So I mean, we should talk to me. Talk to me like respect me. I respect you. That's what our vows said. We'll respect each other. We'll love each other. Don't treat me like a slave. I'm your wife.
I just slap. I just slap.
2020 slavery.
So after slapping, open leg to enter.
And after slapping, they want to. Yes, so.
It's not fair.
Yeah, thanks, Ify. Thanks. Yeah, so that answers my question. Yeah, because of that kind of relationship you've built with that person, you don't expect that coming from there. Okay.
Yeah, if my father slapped me as a child, he slapped me as a child because I'm his child. So yes, he wanted to correct me. But this one, you're my husband. You're not my father. You're not my brother. Oh. I could tolerate that when I was much younger. I didn't know my left from right. But now I'm an adult. I'm a mother. I'm your wife. So there's so many things attached to it that I wouldn't tolerate. I'd rather leave the marriage and save my life because the next one now, like I said, you will strangle me at night.
I'm telling you. And so I've heard stories about when people are sleeping and they open their eyes and they see their spouse just staring at them.
And when they slap you and when they do, they'll say they will not put lawyers. I don't know if you have lawyers here. They will say crime of passion or something. They will just put one thing. I didn't know. I didn't know when I did it. I was not insane. I was insane or something. They will say one thing.
But your ass will still go to jail, even if it's crime of passion or not. Your ass is going to jail.
Yeah, but they will also claim insanity as well under the psychiatric.
And then your ass will be in a psych ward for like years. You'll be in a psych hospital for years. So which one is better?
Let's hear from Auntie Chi.
Auntie Chi, go ahead.
Let's hear from Auntie Chi. Time is going.
Yeah, one of our fine ladies. It's been ages.
We miss you. We miss you, babe.
I'll get in there, man. Can you not just calm down so that we that are single can see men? You just want to just be hot all the time. That's not
Who
fun.
are you talking about? I'm
talking about you.
Oh, I love you. My dear, I'm not going to singles together, so don't let this thing feel. Do you see anything here? Me and you single together.
Anyway,
I have a question.
Let Chi finish, then you can go ahead.
Chi go first.
Okay, my point is this: for you to even have the audacity to say that you are correcting somebody, it is something that is born out of, I don't even know whether to call it pride or ego. Like, who made you a correctional officer? First of all, like, what makes you think you know enough to correct somebody? No, that is my point. Like, what makes you? So, is it okay? Oh, so okay, so that's the thing. So we're looking at it from the ownership perspective. So if a man marries me and he owns me, he's allowed to do with me whatever he wants. He can correct me whenever he wants to correct him. So that means if a fellow man or maybe a man of God who is in charge of him, decides to beat him or give him a correctional slap, it's okay because it's all about correction. Now let me take it back take it back to kids. There's a reason why people are not flogged in the university. Because at a particular age, that kind of, anyway, it's only because we are Africans that we're talking about it. Nobody flogs anybody or beats anybody here just to correct them. So there's a reason why nobody flogs anybody in the university. And that is because at a particular age, you are expected to think for yourself. And if you make a mistake, you should not be violently corrected. It does not even make any sense. Yes. The man has audacity, honestly. And I am happy for him that he got away with this one. But you cannot slap somebody to say that you're correcting them. First of all, even if we look at it without, even if it's not about this whole violence issue, it doesn't even make any sense. It is going to be counterproductive. Because what you're saying is you want me to be scared of you. If I want to do something, I won't do it because I'm scared of you. It doesn't even make any sense. So please, this man that said something about correctional slap, that's how there'll be correctional kick and correctional, like somebody said, strangulation. That's where it starts from. So I don't agree. Except he will allow me to correct him like that for every now and then it's okay. But we are partners. We are, you don't marry, somebody was saying that when they say 1 + 1 = half plus half equals 1, they're looking for somebody to complete you. That's not true. Nobody's looking for half of a person. They're looking for a complete person to complete you, to partner with you. And so now that you have seen my nakedness and I've seen your nakedness and we are equal, you now raise your hand and slap me.
Where is it?
It's right here. All right, thank you, Chi. Let's go to Florence. Florence, your hand is up. Adanna, after Florence is you. So Florence, go ahead.
By instruction today.
I hope I got the interpretation. No.
Yeah, I just joined. I just want to make a little point of my sister that just say hitting. Anyway, I didn't start from the beginning, but both father and a husband is not supposed to use hitting or beating as the best way to correct a child or a wife. I think with love and pampering or showing that love in a way, much caring way, will be the best way to correct anyone, even a child. Hitting a child is not even the best way to correct. Even our fathers, then they must have done it then, but that's not the best way to correct one. That's the little thing I want to add.
Right. Thank you, Ndeo. Miss Adanna W. Adanna W. Are you there? Can you unmute yourself?
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, good evening. Hi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I feel that the whole idea of, or the discussion around whether it's right to hit anybody, whether brother, sister, or whatever, you have to look at it in the context of, if you go to work and you do something wrong and someone hits you, would you accept it? So when someone hits you, what does that make you feel? And what does that make both the person who is hitting and the person who is being hit? Because it's a method of, are you saying that you do not have enough words to express what that person has done that has offended you or that has done wrong? that you have to use your hand. So you do have to question the mindset of the person who is hitting. And then even if it's your brother or your sister, that means that you can't tell me enough that you have to use your hand. So I think, as has been said, children, sometimes you talk and talk and talk and they don't understand what you're saying. So you have to put a fear in them. And I'm not saying that I accept hitting children, but this is what the sort of backstory behind why people get so angry with a child when you've told them so many times, they don't seem to understand, and then you have to put a fear in them. So when you are hitting an adult that you're saying, I've told you enough and you don't understand, I have to put a fear in you, then there's a message there. There's a hidden message that you're sending. And I'm sorry to say, Igbo men have got such a big ego that they feel that they must use a kind of oppressive thing on a woman because they don't feel that speaking to her in a tender or explanatory way is enough. And even if the person does something differently, doesn't mean it's wrong. I don't know what it is, the circumstances behind the thing, because I joined late as well. But I may do something differently. You may do something differently. Like, for instance, I may not wash the plates the way you like to wash the plate. Does that mean it's wrong? Do you understand? So you have to look at it in that context, that why are you hitting somebody? Because they're doing something different. I can't see how someone can, obviously there are some things that you think this is—
I need a hammer because you just hit everything on the—
Yeah, so you have to look at the circumstances behind it. But basically, I do feel that it conditions the mindset, and where people through generations have accepted this in the African culture, you can see the regimes in those countries, because people don't want to speak out of line. They don't want to say something, to stand up to the right thing, to authority or whatever, because they're scared. And that fear comes from the home and how discipline is. It's very easy to, threaten somebody in Nigeria or something, even though the person is right. But the way you say, if you dare talk, I will deal with you, because that comes from the home, and that needs to change. And I do believe that, there's a lot of this whole thing about I'm a man, I can do what I want. And that is wrong, because in a relationship, you're equal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Adana, sorry, EJ, sorry, let me say something. Yeah. Wabs, can I say something? Adana,
yeah, go ahead.
You didn't, sorry, EJ, Adana, they did not say exactly what caused the problem. All they told us in that story is, I slapped my wife.
It doesn't matter what caused it. That's what everybody's saying.
No, that's the point is she thought she missed something. She did not miss anything. We didn't get that information of what happened. He said, I slapped a woman and this happened, yes.
Okay.
So we're trying to
so can we have Terence say something? Terence has been wanting to say something since.
T.
Yeah.
T, go ahead.
This issue of beating up is kind of spiritual, because when you see dad or anybody beating your mother, the man must automatically beat the wife or partner. It's a must. So sometimes it's not that he wants to do it, but that's what he saw the dad doing. So like me, I did it too.
I won't lie.
T, Terence, you can if you touch any person, the person will die. So you better not hit. You have to stop.
I used to target the hamstring, not this beating. When the talk is too much, then I will target her hamstring, and she will keep quiet. But the issue of men beating their wives,
hamstring is the back, is the back of the thigh.
Yeah, I have. So
no, I want to explain to people what hamstring is, because you know what hamstring, people don't know. Hamstring is the back of your thigh. That's the hamstring. That's the muscle that lets your leg walk. The walking mechanism. The hamstring help.
In case my police, so, but the issue of beating is not good. But in Niger, men they beat. Men
yeah,
they beat.
we know men beat, but the question is what? So you think it's good for men to beat women?
No,
even if it's a hamstring.
Sometimes it might be the quick solution to stop the argument. I'm arguing.
So you know what? I'll have you
also
marry Ifeoma Moma, so you and Ifeoma can be beating each other because
that's the question I wanted to ask. What's the connection? What's the connection, Terence? By holding did you call it hamstring or hamstring?
Hamstring.
What did you call it?
Hamstring, yes.
What's the connection
so that
with
it
that
doesn't
to
show
the mouth?
The mark I show.
I know. So how would that stop me from talking? Anyway, let's hear from Nneka. Let's hear what Nneka has to say.
Ataiwa is asking you what is spiritual something. See.
Hello.
Nneka, go on.
Yes,
yeah,
go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, from the whole story, anyway, we Africans, by nature, some of our men, I think that some got the whole thing from parents' upbringing. Maybe I've seen some people, they grew up in a family, maybe their father can insult their mother, or beat. As the children will learn from it. That is orientation. But when you see, there are some men out of ego or maybe complex or other things, there are some condition or constraints that follow it. Like there are some men, they are hot-tempered. When they talk, when you talk is a problem.
Exactly.
There are some, they
That's
don't
most of
hold
them.
their anger.
They don't want you talking back.
And yeah, but some, after maybe slap or maybe they will not feel bad, they will call their wife, they might buy something for you just because of the beating, maybe a slap. So this situation calls for it anyway, but I have seen some guys, maybe when they grow up, maybe very conducive, enabling environment, you see them, they take things calm. No matter we women, we can maybe when we are angry, we can say something, but there are some men, they will just pick their key and move out of the house. And when they come back, see the anger will just go out. That is it. Yeah. So everything depends on maturity, your exposure and all that, So that is my conclusion about it. It depends on individual. There are some people, they just see you when you brab, they just leave you and go. There are some people out of anger, they will follow you immediately. So everything depends on individual. That is what I can say about it.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Adana's hand is up as well.
Sorry, I know people are raising their hand. I don't mean to jump you, but let me quickly respond to what Terence said. Terence, what he just said is, wow. It's not acceptable at all.
Yeah.
And I want the moderator to, try and address it. That is not the position of the show. That's individual opinion. Because there's no way you can justify domestic violence, even if you are doing it in a subtle way to cover it. It shouldn't be something that should be tolerated under any guise.
Yes.
So that we are communicating to a lot of people. We don't know who is listening. So we shouldn't adopt it as an opinion of the show. It's opinion. So we should try and correct that narrative. You shouldn't hamstring, touching the hair or anything. You shouldn't. And you shouldn't, I'm doing it in such a way that when he calls the cops, he shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. In this modern age, there are other ways to address it. I know that sometimes, women or men can be so that you feel like there are other ways to address it. And that's what, at the end of the day, at the end of this show, the takeaway is there are other ways to handle situations like that. Corrective slap or corrective anything is not acceptable under any guise. And we can handle situations like that. If that is the takeaway from this show, the show has done justice to, lending its voice to domestic violence. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you, T. Yes, I'm glad. This is why we have this platform to, to learn together and to educate. As people come with their various views and everything. Today is T's first time of joining us. since 10 years I've been sending him messages. So I'm glad he joined today, because if there's nothing else, T is going to learn that beating, especially your girl, is not acceptable. You know, like whether you hit the hamstring or whether you hit the calves, anywhere you want to hit, it's not acceptable. So T, I hope you learned something today. Me and T, we always argue on our alumni website, because T is always saying women did this, women did this. And I
don't support beating. I don't support beating.
Okay.
Never. But sometimes this beating or this violence that we are talking about is if I saw my dad doing it when I was growing up,
you would have hit him.
Automatically I will do it. It's not that I want to do it because I saw that that's way of life.
Yeah.
It's spiritual. It was passed
from generation to generation.
Yeah. I don't do it, but sometimes when the talking is too much and not impulsively, you can get
walk away. Like I stammer too, so you walk away.
Make a conscious effort to do better. Make a conscious effort not to be like your dad. A lot of people were raised in wretched homes, but they told themselves, I'm not going to be like my father. I need to work hard and make money. And they made money. So you can also say to yourself, I cannot be like my dad. I cannot batter a woman. Okay? And there's no way if you put in effort, you're not going to make it. So that your dad did it does not justify it. That your dad did it doesn't make it a good way of life.
Definitely. But yeah, it's automatic. But yeah.
We are using that here because of the example that your parents, because I've seen women pound their husband like back in the days in the village.
I agree.
So it's all this domestic violence. I always tell people it's gender neutral. The idea
can go both ways,
it's gender neutral.
Sorry, I think it's really interesting. We can stay for over time. Adana's hand has been up. Adana, could you chip in quickly? We need to end and go offline and then continue the conversation.
See, don't go away because we have bone to chew with you.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, is it Terence? I think there's lots of organizations that you can get help with that, because to me, that's like uncontrollable anger. And you need to be able to control that, because no matter how angry you are, if you go outside to work or somewhere, you wouldn't do it. So you can control it in certain settings, so it cannot be automatic. But it is learned behavior, and you can learn a different behavior. I just
unlearn and relearn.
Yes, because I just wanted to say, because when I got married, we went to my husband's village, and his auntie, that's the brother's wife. So his dad's brother passed away. And so the woman is a widow in the village. And any little thing, everybody will hit her. All the boys there, all the men, from my husband's brothers they will just, be telling her off anyhow. And this is a learned behavior as well. And it was normalized. Sometimes some of these Nollywood movies, you watch them and you see domestic violence like that. They just hit the woman anyhow. And I just feel that this is something that needs to stop. It shouldn't be normalized in African culture as if we're barbaric animals. Whatever used to happen in the past, we need to, as the other gentleman spoke there, we need to change the narrative. It needs to stop, because we are not animals. And for somebody to feel, you didn't give birth to me, you cannot, give me life. So why would you think that what you're doing is going to, if you take my life, you don't know what can happen if you hit somebody and they have a heart attack or something like that. So you shouldn't do that. And you should control yourself. Anybody that does it, man or woman, should be able to control themselves. But when I saw that it happening and everybody was just walk, because she's stupid, just give her, then even somebody said, if your wife is misbehaving, you can just, I said, which one, me? No, that can't happen, So, you can't, just because it's happened I'm just trying to use that example as, because my own husband has seen it happening in his own family, then for him, would it be automatic? So I just had to tell him, no, you can't do that. that's not how you correct somebody, but it is something that you can learn and unlearn.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adanna. Yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of today's show. It's been an interesting one. And, they keep saying, well, time flies when you're having fun. And this is a typical example of time flying. I didn't know when the time went to. Join us next week. We have another burning question, and let's see, all of us we're going to share or discuss and solve that. The next week topic is about food deprivation in relationship. Let's see what happens and why people decide not to eat with whatever food we're talking about here. We'll talk more about it next week. Be a part of the show, please, same time. Stay tuned for the overtime. And please, in case you didn't hear, there's nothing like Correctional Slap. I've been trying to find a reason why it should work, but I think everybody has said that there's no reason why it should work. Please, let's say no to domestic violence, no to slaps, no to beating, no to anything at all. Passion,
sex spanking,
passion crime, no to anything bad, and let's live in peace. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll go off Facebook and we'll carry on the show.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys.